Another thing I want to touch on briefly is total and relative energy intake. Because, there's sort of been a trend lately. I guess nutrition's funny because there are a lot of trends. But nobody wants to talk about total calories. What's your macronutrient breakdown? I answer tons of questions on the internet for people, and it's like, well, I'm eating 30% of my calories from carbs and 40% protein and 30% fat. Do you think I should move it up to 33% carbohydrates? Or, and I say, well, at 200 calories, are you gaining or losing weight? I don't know. So you need to answer total calories are important, okay? And what we're going to do is when you modify macronutrients, right, macronutrient modifications, adjusting these percentages of your calories is basically just going to allow you to function better at higher or lower intakes. And so people sort of forget that modifying your macronutrients is really fine-tuning. And I have a couple examples. Okay, so we have a 200-pound bodybuilder that's trying to get shredded. And he's going to be eating 2,000 calories a day. And so he has two options here. So these are the two examples I have are rather extreme, but I think they illustrate the point. So diet number 1 is going to be 30% protein, 40% carbs, 30% fat, versus diet number 2, which is 40% protein, 10% carbs, and 50% fat. So in this case, he wants to lose weight, and he's taking in 2,000 calories. He would want to pick diet 2, right? You could pick diet 1, and you could probably do pretty well. But by taking diet 2, by manipulating these macronutrient ratios, you'd be able to get better results faster on a lower carbohydrate diet. So if we take that same bodybuilder now, but he wants to get big, and he's eating 4,500 calories a day, then he has the same options of macronutrient breakdowns, he's going to want to pick diet 1. Because when you increase your carbohydrates, that's going to change your insulin response, or how much insulin you're secreting. And like I said, insulin is very powerful. It's a powerful sort of potentiator of protein synthesis and muscle growth. With the higher carbohydrate diet, you'll be able to take advantage of insulin more. Now, low-carb people will be like, whoa, well, I'm going to argue with you, Mike, and say you don't need carbs, right? And yes, if you want to eat 4,500 calories and 50% of your calories from fat, right, so over 2,000 calories a day from fat, you can do that. I wouldn't want to do that. That's a lot of fat, So the take-home here is that total calories are important depending on what you're trying to do, and then you can tweak micronutrients and macronutrients, right? You can tweak macronutrients to sort of fine-tune your goals. Alan talked about before burning fat and building fat and building muscle.
Oh, I know how to do that.
We're all too good at building fat. But, talking about burning fat and building muscle at the same time. And how is this possible? And I guess I'll throw it in here because I was thinking about it last night, and nobody ever really has a good explanation for that. And some people are like, well, it can't happen because you either need to be, you either have enough calories or you don't have enough calories. But what you fail to realize is that when you're burning fat, you're burning fat, but it's not like going up in smoke. All fat is concentrated energy. And so by burning fat, you're just taking stored energy reserves and using them for energy. Because you're always technically at energy balance. Like the amount of calories that you are burning equals the amount of calories that you are expending. Not necessarily the amount of calories you're eating, right? Like let's say you're burning 3,000 calories a day. If you're only eating 2,500, you have to get those 500 calories from somewhere else. And so that can come from stored body fat. Let's say, saying that your metabolism stays at the same rate. So you can use nutrient timing, though, to stimulate insulin at certain times of the day, like during your workout window, because at that point, when you're stimulating insulin, your body's like, whoa, wait a second, insulin, it means we must have lots of food. So it's okay if we build muscle. It's okay if we increase protein synthesis and repair. So for that sort of time period, you have your body convinced that you have enough food, and so you can build muscle there. But then maybe at the end of the day, right, you're eating less calories, and so your body's in a different situation. It's not necessarily going to build muscle at that point, but you can burn fat and you can use those fats. So that's sort of an aside from what I want